Greetings fellow humans, it's Melinda the Good here. Today we're drafting for Druid in the Hearthstone arena. To do well in the arena, you basically need two things. Good knowledge of the game, something that you can't change except with practice over time, and a strong deck, which is completely randomized, but you can choose which cards go in it. So when you're drafting an arena, you want to focus on two things, tempo and value. Tempo is basically movement advantage. It's all about timing. You want a good curve so that you could play something every turn, you're using up all your mana, you always have that board presence. Value is how good a card is for its mana cost. Can the minion trade up? Can it trade 2 for 1? Is it hard removal? For Druid, it's a pretty standard class. The only issue is that it doesn't have any hard removal like Assassinate or Execute. Naturalize is probably one of the worst cards in Arena because you're giving your opponent card advantage.
You were right to awaken me.
It's a pretty balanced class. Oh my goodness, what a start. We get legendaries on our first pick. What are the odds of that happening? Lore Wakacho is just no. Finja, the Flying Star, Stealth. Summon 2 Murlocs from your deck. This depends on having Murlocs in my deck, and you know what? I really don't want Murlocs in my deck, really. And for a 5-drop, it's pretty terrible, which leaves us with Cenarius. It is a fatty, it's very late game, but it's the correct choice there. We do want a lot more early game. So I'm actually thinking of the Friendly Bartender here. Because Druid doesn't have a lot of strong removal, it relies heavily on its minions surviving and living. Venture-Co is probably really good for this. It's a 5-drop that can trade upwards. So actually I think I will take the Venture-Co. Corehound is just bad overall. It's 5 health, dies to too many things. For 7 cost, it's not worth it. Annoytron is absolutely adorable and cute and very annoying with the Divine Shield and Taunt. Fairy Dragon is also a decent choice here because it can't be pinged, it can't be targeted by hero powers, it is a 3/2, so I think Fairy Dragon is what I want. The Annoytron, it's adorable, but it doesn't really kill anything, so I'm going with the Fairy Dragon. There's no point in picking this because we don't have any secrets. I don't know if having Jade synergy is even going to be a thing in Arena. I hope not. So the Earthen Ring Farseer is probably the most balanced card. It's not the best 3-drop, but it is a 3-drop for 3/3. It's very vanilla. For 6 mana, I think I get better stats for 3 attack. So I'm going with the Earthen Ring. Nightblade also, the body is really bad. Living Roots is probably the correct choice here because of its versatility. Deal 2 damage or 1/1 saplings is fine for 1 mana. So this is actually an interesting choice here. Feral Rage is removal. You can have it for 4 attack. Could kill a minion. Acolyte of Pain is card draw, which is pretty important in Arena because the last thing you want to do is run out of steam, which is basically you empty your hand onto the board and you're just relying on card draw each turn to be an answer for your opponent. The Burly Rockjaw, a 3/5 for 4 mana. It's slightly worse than a Yeti, which is the vanilla of all 4-drops, but it does have the opportunity to grow. Unfortunately, in Arena, because it's not constructed, your opponent might not have spells. So the choice really is between Feral Rage, which is removal, and Acolyte, which is card draw. And Druid does have other card draw, minions, and spells, so I'm gonna go with Feral Rage. For other classes, I probably would pick the Acolyte. Power of the Wild, I don't quite like. It's going to be rare that your board is going to be full of minions for the +1/+1 effect to be worth it. And summoning a 3/2 Vanilla Panther for 2 mana is just very plain. Micro Machine, also adorable mech with the chance to grow and has the chance to trade up. But you need good removal for it to live long enough to grow big. This is a really bad 3-drop. 2 attack with Wind Fury isn't very spectacular. It usually dies to any other 3-drop. The best it could do is maybe kill a 1-drop and a 2-drop. So it's between these two. I think I'm going to pick the Micro Machine just because this card is so bad. Moonfire is terrible. Do I have any beasts in here? No, there's no point in picking the Windwalker, no beasts. So Psychotron, Taunt, Divine Shield, that's fine. We do have 2 mechs, so the Mech Warper is actually viable here. Enchanted Raven, 1-drop 2/2. It is nice, but so many 2-drops are now 2/3s that this would just die to it. Plus we have Mech Synergy. Okay, the epics. We have Fight Promoter, Battlecry if you control a minion with 6 or more health, draw 2 cards. Crowd Favorite, whenever you play a card with Battlecry, gain +1/+1. And the Mountain Giant, costs 1 less for each other card in your hand. These are all absolutely terrible. Unless you have like a super ton of card draw, you want to be putting down minions on the board every turn, so your hand isn't going to be that big, making Mountain Giant practically unplayable. Fight Promoter, 6 health, or sorry, 6 mana for 4 attack, 4 health. That's really, really bad. And you want a minion with 6 or more health to draw cards. It's very situational, so I'm gonna have to go with a Crowd Favorite. At worst, it's a 4-drop with 4 attack, 4 health. Very, very plain vanilla, but it's possible to grow. I don't know if we have anything with battle cries yet. No, nothing with battle cries. Nothing to activate it, but it's better than the other 2. This is cute, but doesn't really kill anything. This, once again, really depends on having a board. If you don't have board presence, this is not going to save you. Living Roots it is. So for this choice, I'm gonna have to be looking at my cards so far. And for the mana curve of your deck, you generally want a sort of whale shape. A lot of 2-drops, 3-drops, a lot of early game, because having control in the early game is what wins you the game in Arena. The Robocub, it is a mech, so it will synergize with our Mech Warper. We don't have a lot of 3-drop minions yet. So I do think the Raging Worgen is the correct choice here. Oh dear. So for late game, you generally want 2 or 3 really big fat cards like this. Ironbark Protector is really good for what it does. Taunt 8/8. This is really bad. I mean, it kills something. It's a 6 mana for 5 damage removal. But you don't have a minion on the board. It dies. 5 mana, 3/5 is a terrible, worse than Yeti terrible, but has Wind Fury. So if it does live, it might do 6 damage to face. Or it could do 3 damage to a minion and die. So Ironbark it is. Oh, some rares. Okay, so we have the Midnight Drake, Battlecry, gain +1 attack for each other card in your hand. Once again, our hand isn't going to be big because we want to be playing a lot of minions. This is definitely not viable. Bomb Squad. Deal 5 damage to an enemy minion, Death Rattle, deal 5 damage to your hero. This is actually pretty good because it's removal. It's 5 damage removal. And you get a 2/2 on the board. This is the Lights Champion. The tax really doesn't matter. Battlecry silence a demon. It's very situational, but its body is decent. A 4/3 for 3 mana, that is decent. So the choice is between the Lights Champion and the Bomb Squad. And to be honest, I think I'll pick the Bomb Squad just because it is removal. This is a nice 3-drop, but for 3 health it will die to a lot of things as well. Naturalize, as I was saying, is a really bad card in Arena. I mean, it is removal, but you're giving your opponent card advantage. So if your opponent empties his hand, drops something really big that you can't deal with, you use Naturalize, and suddenly they have a hand again because they drew 2 cards, and the next turn they have 3 cards. Jade Blossom. I don't regret not taking that other Jade card earlier. It's just too slow for Arena. But you do gain a mana crystal for this. But we don't need the Jade Golem. Mark of the Lotus, I think, might be the best of the worst here. We haven't drawn any really strong removal yet either, so it's actually possible that I might take Naturalize. I don't want to, but it's possible. This basically doesn't help you with your board at all. It doesn't kill anything. This does. So the choice is between the Naturalize and the Mark of the Lotus. I do have removal with the Bomb Squad. Feral Rage. That's about it. I would like a little bit more removal. I would definitely love a few swipes. We are lacking in the 4-drop department, one of the most important areas. 4 drops is a major spike in tempo during the game. And this is really difficult. You know what, I know I said Naturalize is probably the worst card, but I think I will take it. I haven't drawn any swipes yet. We're halfway through picking our card deck. I'm taking the Naturalize. It wasn't a wrong choice, but it wasn't the best choice either. Spell damage. Do we have any spells? We do have 2 Living Roots. And yeah, that's about it. So Ogre Magi, probably not gonna get a lot of value. Ancient Brewmaster, return a friendly minion from the battlefield back to your hand, and a Murloc. We do need a lot of 4-drops, so we're gonna ignore the Murloc. Do we have, so it's between the Ogre and the Brewmaster. Do we have anything with really important battle cries? Oh, maybe the Bomb Squad. So maybe it's worth it to grab the Brewmaster. We can also brew the Psychotron for the Divine Shield. So I'm going to choose the Brewmaster. That seems to be the correct choice here. Volcanic Drake is an interesting card. It requires things to die. Generally don't want things to die, unless if it's the other your opponent's minions. Mounted Raptor is a beast with Death Rattle. summon a random 1-cost minion, and Wild Growth. Wild Growth is nice, but you do lose tempo. It's a slow card. You basically skip turn 2, and they drop whatever they want on turn 2, and you need big cards to play into it. I think it's a little situational. Some people might choose Wild Growth. I don't think so in this for this arena run. We don't have enough strong removal, so I really do want to put minions on the board. Don't like the Drake, picking the Raptor. These are all really, really, really bad. First of all, 1-cost cards are generally terrible, with the exception of the Abusive Sergeant. But you don't want to be turned to using your hero power at all, because once again, you lose tempo. And basically, I mean, even if you use the hero power, it becomes a 2/2, which is slightly better than the Murloc Raider, but you don't need to use the hero power. Wind Fury for 1 damage does nothing. So, Murloc Raider it is. Lurgle, lurgle, lurgle. I don't really like 5-drops in Arena. We do have a lot of them. We have 3 of them already. They're nice, but they don't trade very well with 6-drops and 7-drops. This is once again a terrible card. I don't know why RNGesus is insisting that I take the Mark of Lotus. I don't want it. Please make it go away. Tentacle is also really bad. 1 damage to all minions. I mean, it's you want AoEs in Arena. You do want that. But there's no way for me to activate this by itself, and just trading it for 1 damage usually doesn't kill anything, so no point in this. This is terrible. Once again, I think this is not a good card for Arena. I could be wrong, but I think the correct choice here is actually the Berserker. Even though our curve isn't looking very nice right now, I would definitely love to have more 4-drops. This just makes the game much slower. Actually, if it is going slower, then maybe I should take the Mark of Lotus, because it will buff my minions up. And I want my minions to live. No, this is just so terrible. It's gonna be the Berserker. Jade Idol. Do I want to play a Jade Druid in Arena? No, absolutely not. Adult Grizzly, give it +1/+1 for minions that you summon afterwards. We don't have any minions that sort of spawn more little minions, unfortunately. Questing Adventure is also really bad. Both of these are basically the same, except the Questing Adventurer, you can play minions or spells. Doesn't matter because we don't have any spells. A lot of spells anyways. This is terrible. This is just... there's no point. Absolutely no point. I shudder to think if I actually meet someone who took all the Jade cards. Yeah, I guess it'll be the Grizzly. I don't have anything that synergize. I don't have any beast synergies, unfortunately. We do have a few beasts. The Raptor. But yeah, no... Oh, why do I have such terrible picks? Terrible. Really slow. Battle Cry. Give a random friendly beast, dragon, or murloc +2/+2. And guess what? We have a murloc, we have a dragon, and we have beasts. So it's gonna be this dude. Oh my goodness. Every time I see the Jade, I just want to cry. It's a 4-drop. It's a really bad 4-drop. And now I'm thinking, oh, what if I took all the Jade cards? No, it's still the wrong choice. No matter what, it's the wrong choice. We need 2 drops. Plus this is deal 1 damage. There we go. Oh look, a 4-drop. Really, really bad 4-drop. Why is this a bad 4-drop? Well, you are healing yourself, but you're not really doing much for the board. This can't really kill anything. Maybe the 1/1 paladin minions, the little dudes that they spawn, but other than that, nothing. At best, it saves you 4 damage to face. We already have a Worgen, I believe. Yes. And we have enough 5-drops, we don't need another 5-drop. We do really need 4-drops, so I'm gonna take it. Ooh, this is interesting. Because we do have mechs. If you control a mech, discover another mech. Choose one, discover a minion, or discover a spell, and charge. I do like the Raven Idol, because it gives you choice. It allows you to adapt to whatever situation you're in. If you need to get ahead, if you need removal. This card allows it, but we have a lot of 1-drops already. And it is a little bit situational, because you could draw something that's high cost in the early game that you can't play for ages. We need 4-drops. This is a 4-drop, this is a 4-drop. This is pretty bad. 2 attack doesn't kill anything on turn 4. 3 attack doesn't kill a lot either, but we do have a chance of discovering a mech, so I think the Krellabot might be the right choice. I don't know. Normally I would pick the Raven Idol, but 4-drops in Arena is just so important, and we only have 7 more picks left. I need this 4-drop. Ooh, interesting. We don't need health. This is nothing. This buffs our minions. How many 3-drops do we have? We do have a decent amount of 3-drops, actually. We already have enough 3-drops, we don't really need it. This is a very vanilla card, doesn't have any flavor text whatsoever, but it's a fatty. It's got 7 health, it could probably stomp on a lot of little minions. We have enough late game, right? Yeah, we have good late game. Another 3-drop. Another 5-drop. Another really bad 6-drop. We have a lot of 3-drops, so we're gonna be pretty strong in the early to mid game. And we have some big cards at the end as well. I think Druid of the Flame is the correct choice. Once again, I really don't like the Rocketeer. It could be removal though, and we do need a few more 6-drops. But for example, if the opponent drops down the Ventrico on turn 5 and your turn 6 you drop down the Reckless Rocketeer, guess what? The Reckless Rocketeer will die to the Ventrico, and the Ventrico would still be alive. I'm hating on this card a lot, but I'm thinking I might need to take it. How many 3-drops do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We do have a lot of 3-drops. No, I think I'll take another 3-drop. 2-5 doesn't kill a lot, but it could trade maybe at least for 2 other cards. Cogmaster, huh? We could play a very typical mech deck. Zoobot. We do have Beast, Dragon, Murlocs, but 3 mana, 3/3, very vanilla. I believe the Evil Heckler is the correct choice here. Taunt, 5 attack, kills something. Protects your other minions. It's the correct choice. Healing Touch. Do we want healing? Not really. Cult Master. It is card draw. And you know what? We haven't actually drawn any of the magical, great card draw cards that Druid has. So card draw might be important here. I think we'll take card draw. And it's a 4-drop. We barely have any spells at all. We have 1 Feral Rage. A Neutralize, which I don't really count as a spell. This is like a last ditch attempt emergency card. 2 Living Roots. We do have 2 Living Roots actually. Is that it? That is it. We have 3 spells. Yeah, I don't think the Mana Worm's gonna cut it. Brewmaster. It is a 2-drop, but I don't really want to brew anything back. I do need more 2-drops, so the choice is between a 3/2. that does nothing, because I don't want to brew anything back. Or Ancient of Blossoms is the taunt, 3/8. I'm gonna choose the Ancient. Oh my goodness, another set of legendaries. You know what? We don't have any. Other than the Living Roots, we do not have any doubles in the deck. We could play a Reno Druid. We absolutely could. Toshli, I mean, 5/7 for 6 mana. It's okay too. They're all 6 mana, which is okay for a curve. You know what? I'm okay with that. Black Knight destroys an enemy minion with taunt. There are a lot of good taunt creatures. And, like, for example, the Ironbark will absolutely die to the Black Knight. Black Knight is really good. This is a hard choice because it will be funny and greedy to take Reno. It will be absolutely hilarious. But the thing is with Reno, it heals you, right? It saves you from death. It saves you at death's door. But we don't have any removal, so even if it does save us, the enemy still, it doesn't affect the board at all. The enemy will still have its minions on the board. It's just going to continue smacking us in the face until we die again. So no, I'm sorry Reno, not going to happen. 6 mana 5/4 is like a really bad Yeti, but it does destroy taunt. But it is situational, you do need a taunt. This, spare parts are fun. Okay, GVG was a fun expansion, but I don't think it will really change the game at all. But it has a nice body. 6 mana or 5 health is okay, but 5 attack doesn't really kill much. If it was a 6/7, without doubt this would be the card I pick. But I think Black Knight is what I'm gonna go with, because we don't really need the body. We have the Boulder Fist, we have the Ironbark, we have Cenarius, so we don't really need another fat dude. I mean, it would be nice if we had another fat dude, but I'm just saying it's okay to pick someone with a little bit less attack. I do think Toshli is a very close second, but I don't really like the spare parts. So I'm gonna go with the Black Knight, because that's minion removal. There you go, this is a mishmash of a lot of different cards. We've got very lucky having 2 legendaries. It would have been so funny to have Reno in this deck and have it actually go off. It would have been hilarious. We actually don't have a lot of doubles, except for the Living Roots. So, that's the draft for Druid. I mean, sometimes you have good luck with the draft, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you meet really difficult opponents in Arena. A lot of it is luck, some of it is skill. So if you don't do well in Arena, don't give up. Keep at it. You will get better. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you found this very helpful. If you want to see more, please don't forget to subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next video.